Hello, everyone. Hi, I am Kimra from Idaho Abortion Rights. And one of our primary goals is, given our circumstances we're in, is to make sure people are educated on what is going on in the landscape of abortion access, particularly here in Idaho. We've decided to put on some interviews with people who are experts and who are actively working around the clock to support Idahoans. Today, I have Mistie here. Mistie is the Idaho State Director of Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates, and they are doing a lot of work on the ground to ensure that Idahoans have as much access as we can possibly legally have currently, depending on all these laws and things that are changing. So, hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, Kimra. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I love taking any opportunity to be able to spread the word and get the information out there to Idahoans. So thank you for helping elevate this.
Yes, and anybody who's watching this, we will make sure to have a ton of links for resources from like Legal Voice, from Planned Parenthood, from everywhere. We'll make sure to have all the links available below the video. So just if you're watching and you need more info, we'll have tons there. So my first question for you is, people have asked us, like, what really is Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates? Like, how long have you been with them? Like what really is that, and how is Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates, supporting us as Idahoans?
Yeah, fair question. And I think part of the confusion lies in the fact that we've gone through a couple of mergers in the last few years. And so the name has kind of changed along with the mergers, right? So oftentimes people probably knew us a couple of years ago as Planned Parenthood Boats Northwest in Hawaii. That was our name before we merged with Kentucky and Indiana. But Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates is basically the C4 arm of the Planned Parenthood affiliate that covers Washington, Idaho, Alaska, Hawaii, Kentucky, and Indiana. So we're a 6-state affiliate. I'm the Idaho State Director for that C4 arm. And basically what that means is that we do the political, legislative, and advocacy work for the C3 that operates in those states. So the C3 is the one that operates the health centers, operates our, sex ed classes and education programs. And then the C4, we kind of say we're the ones who help to keep the doors open so that we can continue to provide those services.
Love it. Thank you for explaining that, because some people have asked us, like, what the heck is this? So, so one of the big major things is, of course, a lot of people have heard about the legal blocking that has happened with Planned Parenthood suing the state. We know that there's discussions happening on August 3rd at the Idaho Supreme Court about whether the bans are going to be blocked, whether the laws are going into effect. So is that the correct date? And what should we be expecting to hear after that day?
Yeah, so that's also confusing. And let me be clear, it's meant to be. Like that's part of their intention with these multiple bans across the nation, with this like patchwork quilt of what everything is in every state, right? Is to confuse people, make them scared, make them intimidated to even reach out for help, because like, will they get in trouble? What are their rights? What is their ability to access care right now? So to break it down in Idaho, we have a couple of trigger bans on the books. We've got one that was passed in 2000, let's see, what year is it? 2020. And that is the all-out ban. That is a ban that was triggered by the overturning of Roe. So the Supreme Court decision that was just announced at the end of June, that decision is what will trigger our all-out ban. It hasn't been triggered yet because it was known as a slip decision. And that 30-day timeline does not begin until the official filing of that ruling.
Okay.
What that means is that it usually takes between 25 to 30 days after the slip decision is announced for that official decision to be filed. We know that the Attorney General here in Idaho has publicly stated that he will not begin enforcing that ban until August 18th. Okay. So that means that until August 17th, abortion is legal in the state of Idaho. You can call Planned Parenthood, you can get an appointment. we are scheduling appointments as quickly as possible and trying to be super flexible and get, increasing our capacity and increasing our appointment times so that we can get as many people in right now as possible, because we are, we're entering into that 5 to 6 week time frame now of when this ban will begin being enforced. And we expect an influx of appointment requests as we near that August 17th date. Now, in conjunction with that, we had the SB 1309 bill that was just passed this last session. That was that Texas style SB 8 copycat law that was that like vigilante 6-week ban. So family members spy on each other and can sue a provider for any abortion that is provided after 6 weeks. We immediately sued the state on that law, and the court granted an emergency injunction, which means that that law is banned right now as it moves its way through the court system. We are also requesting an emergency injunction on that first law that we just spoke about, so that all-out ban. And on August 3rd, there are going to be oral arguments at the Idaho Supreme Court on the request for that emergency stay. And it's kind of up to the court's timeline. We might find out quickly whether or not they grant the stay, which means that the ban would be blocked while it moves through the courts, or it might take a week or two. It's possible that we find out after that August 18th date. We don't know exactly when we're gonna get a decision on that, but we're gonna be getting that information out to folks. I know that you all will be too, letting folks know as quickly as possible what the status is of those lawsuits, because they very, very much affect somebody's ability to access care.
Gotcha. So a lot is going to be going on August 3rd. That's a very busy day. And we are also hosting a protest on that day, partly because that's the day that this is happening at the Idaho Supreme Court. And it's been very concerning for so many people because, like you said, it is really confusing. Like even reading the laws and things like that, they don't make it clear. And like you said, they do this on purpose. Some people are like, wait, can I help my kid have an abortion? If my teenager gets pregnant, can I take them out of state? Like there's all of these questions, which I'm really glad that Legal Voice has been putting, content together, and the National Lawyers Guild and all these groups are putting together information for us. And that stuff changes by the day almost, it seems. And we're finding out more and more things. And so it's something where for Idaho abortion rights, we really want to keep people educated. And so for people to be watching our Instagram, and we're always keeping everything up to date as much as possible. So some other questions that people are having is about Ontario. So people are kind of seeing the Ontario Planned Parenthood as a way that is going to help us be a little bit safer and be able to have a little bit more access. So what is going on with the Ontario Planned Parenthood clinic? Do we have any dates on when that's going to be ready for us? Yeah, we'd love to know.
All really good questions. So people have probably heard that the Boise and Meridian Health Centers have recently consolidated. That was part of digging into our operations costs and looking at what care would look like in a post-Roe world here in Idaho. And that decision was made so that we could continue providing essential resources and essential care even in a post-Roe world, right? We know that for 70% of our patients, Planned Parenthood is the only healthcare provider they have. And so we want to be able to stay open. We want to be able to stay providing services like life-saving cancer screenings and birth control and STI screenings and treatments. And soon we're already providing gender-affirming care. Soon we're going to be doing that via telehealth to really free up those in-person appointments like I was talking about earlier. In addition to that, our partners, an affiliate in Oregon, the Columbia-Willamette Planned Parenthood affiliate, is opening a health center in Ontario, just right across the border, about an hour drive from Boise, so that we can help folks in the southern part of the state access abortion more easily. It is in the permitting phase right now. So it's really caught up in some like bureaucratical red tape systems at the moment, which means we don't have a firm date on when it will be up and running. I can tell you that folks in our affiliate, folks in the Columbia Willamette affiliate are working, you know, fast and furiously to get that up and running as quickly as possible, so that should the worst happen, should our lawsuit not be successful against the state and that August 18th date arrives and we can no longer provide abortions in the state of Idaho, we can get people to the closest clinic as quickly as possible. I wish I had a date right now. I don't, but again, those are pieces of information we'll be pushing out as quickly as we possibly can once we know. You know, we're towing this line of like wanting to get information out as fast as possible, but also wanting it to be really accurate. And so we're asking folks to be patient and know that as much information as possible is coming as quickly as we can.
Yes. And thank you for that. Of course, we want everything to be as accurate as possible. A concern that a lot of people have had is Eastern Idaho. Eastern Idaho, it seems like it might be a little bit farther of a distance for people to get to clinics. Some people might have to fly on airplanes to get, you know, somewhere to get care. Do you happen to know anything that is going on in that area where people would be able to find the support and care they need?
Yeah, Eastern Idaho is one of our concerning spots as well in the state. It's farther away from, you know, Ontario is just across the border on the western part of the state. We know that Montana has a pretty hostile governor right now, so we don't know what the future of abortion care looks like in Montana. We know that the northern part of Idaho already has been going to healthcare centers just across the border in Washington. Nothing will really change for folks in northern Idaho. It really is the eastern part of the state that concerns us the most as far as access. We don't have a good answer for that right now. The best thing I can tell you is that as part of our shift in resources, our intentional shift in resources within our affiliate has been to beef up our capacity and our patient navigator teams so that we have folks who are ready once these laws go into effect for folks to call, you know, Planned Parenthood just like they would if they needed an appointment wherever they are in the state, even in the eastern part of the state. And they'll be ready to help explain where the law is at, how it'll affect the care that they need and that they're trying to access, hook them up with resources like mutual aid funds and abortion funds that can help them cover the costs of travel, lodging. You know, even here in Idaho, we can provide the care that folks will need to lead up to accessing abortion care. So if the pregnancy needs dated or there needs blood work or any needed ultrasounds, that can happen here in the state of Idaho. And then we can hook them up with resources to get them where they need to be. And, you know, like I can't not state that won't be without barriers for folks in the eastern part of the state. Like it is going to be a little bit longer to get to the nearest health center. But there are folks ready. They've been preparing for this moment to help them access resources to get to where they need to be. And hopefully, you know, we have people working constantly trying to come up with contingency plans, and hopefully we'll have a better option for folks in Eastern Idaho in the, you know, coming months.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. And like I said, I know like it's very concerned. I mean, it's concerning for everybody. You know, we want everybody in Idaho to have the access that they deserve to have, that they need to have, that they want to have, and the care that they, you know, really deserve. And so we're grateful that we have people that are working hard to make sure that, you know, we can have as much access as possible. So are there any other final things that you would like, you know, the community to know about everything that's coming up? Like any like last final things that you would want to make sure that this is something is crucial to let people know? Yeah,
I think, you know, I want people to understand that there are, like we've already stated, there are people coming out of the woodwork. I'm sure for you as well, and for your organization. It's like people want to help. They're furious about what's happening. They're concerned about Idahoans. Our neighboring states are concerned. Planned Parenthood has been preparing for this for years. Like, we saw the writing on the wall during the previous administration as they were appointing judges solely on the promise of overturning Roe, right? Even though they lied about it in Congress. So we've been preparing for this moment for years and have been working on increasing capacity and strategically putting health centers in places around the state. I do want folks to know that we are here, mutual aids are here, abortion funds are here. We are here to help them get the care they need. I also want people to know that while we are laser focused on making sure patients can get the care that they deserve and need, we are also, on the other hand, working around the clock, not around the clock, because we all need to rest, and that is a tool of the revolution, and everybody needs to, make sure they're taking care of themselves. But we are working constantly on holding legislators accountable for the bills that they're proposing, for the votes that they're casting. We have volunteer teams on the ground right now, if you want to get plugged in with us, who are knocking doors in key areas around the state, making sure that voters know what their legislators voted for, that their legislators voted to take away their bodily autonomy, right? To let them know what their legislators voted against, to let them know that they voted against expanding access to birth control here in the state, to let them know that their legislators are publicly stating in the media that they want to go after contraception next, that they want to go after birth control, they want to go after emergency contraception, they want to go after IUDs. They want to do things, we've seen what's coming this next session. They want to add aiding and abetting language. That's one difference between our bans and other states, as there is no aiding and abetting language. They want to have it explicitly added to these laws. They want to take away the affirmative defense for incest and sexual assault, so that there are no exceptions in these bans for cases of incest and sexual assault. They want to ban businesses. I'm sure we've all heard about like Amazon and Chobani and other businesses come out saying that they'll pay for their employees associated costs of having to travel out of state to access abortion care. They want to ban businesses from being able to do that. What am I missing? Among other things, all of this stuff, really draconian, not only trying to take away our ability to access abortion, but they're not going to rest until they take away all of our reproductive health choices. And so it is more important than ever that we are doing things. I'm not going to be this person that's like, voting is going to save us all, because we know that this has been a decades long strategic attempt by the anti-abortion movement to get us to where we are today. They've been gerrymandering, like voting can be difficult for people, and I want to name that.
Yeah.
I see it as a yes and both situation. Like, we do need to be voting new people in that state house. And so I know your group is working on this. We have a PAC board who is interviewing candidates and questionnaires, and we'll be putting out voter guides and doing field work for specific candidates that we need to keep their seats, or we need to flip their seats, so that we can get new people in that building, because the courts aren't saving us. They're not doing it anymore, right? And it's going to be a long time before there's a new court makeup that can undo the damage that they've done. And so it's up to us now, right? And we have to come together, and we have to be holding our legislators accountable, holding them accountable at the polls, especially, and doing the work for the long haul, knowing that this is going to take a long time to undo.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being on today. This was very informative. We'll make sure that any links, any ways that they can help. Also, I'm sure a lot of people will want to start door knocking and, letting people know who is taking away our rights, our basic human rights. Anyways, again, thank you so much for being here, Mistie. Really appreciate all the work that you're doing. And anybody who's watching this or listening to this, we'll make sure to have all the links for all the different resources below this video. Be sure to share this video with as many people as you can. And I do know that y'all are going to be publishing some more information with, Legal Voice and some other groups to make sure that we know how to be safe legally if we are supporting people in abortion access. And we want to make sure we are all taken care of here. So resilience through community is what we say. So thank you so much for supporting our community so much. Again, Mistie, we really appreciate you.
You're so welcome. I do realize that I have failed to mention that the number to call for Planned Parenthood is 1-800-230-PLAN, and that abortionfinder.org is like a key website to finding where you can find health centers to access abortion. And I also wanted to add that for folks in Eastern Idaho, we are hiring a field organizer there. And so we're going to be having someone on the ground in Eastern Idaho helping folks do all the things that we just mentioned, knocking on doors. That's a key part of the state that we need to be focusing on. And we'll have someone on the ground there very soon as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mistie.
Thanks, Kimra. Thanks for having me.